Hello guys, one more day and one more lesson. Actually, we are still working with the inputs. We are still going to talk today about more inputs elements. I did a sample file for some envelope that some input element that we're going to cover today, or some different types of of input type elements that we're going to cover today, like the color, the choose file, the range, the number, and the search box here, the hidden, the URL, the date, the month, the time, the date, local, and week. All of these are inputs or different type of input elements. We're going to learn how to do it today. The color, exactly the color, for example, just when you click on the color input, it's going to give you a different way to pick a color: red, white, blue. You can even mention by changing the number. You can change the RGB number. You can even do the hexa. Also for the choose file, when you click on choose file, it will allow you to upload files from your local machine to your website. Also the range is the range that you go right, left, and we'll learn also how to put the min and the max, and how to do the stepping, and how to pick the value. The same thing apply to number, and the search box, how to search and cancel the search box. The hidden, the URL, where you have to type a URL or your email, or you just type so and so at gmail.com. So the URL of things and emails and stuff. The date, how to pick a date, and the default date, and how to pick a different date. The month and the year. Also, we're going to learn how to do this, and the input element for the time, and the input element for the date, time, local, and the input element for the week. We're going to learn to do all of that today. Let's start with the very first one, which is what? As you can see here from here, is the color. How to do the color over here. So let me just type in the URL in the index.html, our file. I'm going to start with the div. I'm going to specify a div, and here in the div, I'm going to start with the input. And in the input, pick a type. I'm going to pick a color. I'm going to pick the color type, the color. Okay. Also, I'm going to put an ID, and for an ID, I can use X, Y, G, anything you can use ID, but I'm going to pick a logic name, which is color. I can do color. And the reason I'm doing this ID, because as we learned from last time, we're going to do now a label, because you have to put a label. So I'm going to put a label here. Let me tell you why we have to put a label. So if let me just save without any label here. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to reload the file. See here, you see a color box here, but we don't see any label to tell you what is that. So it's so important to have a label. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put like this. We want to have a label. If I go to the sample file, so you have color and then the box. So that's what we are trying to do now. So I'm going to put a label. And since I picked the color here, this color as an ID, I'm going to use it for the for the 4 here, label for color. And I'm going to put a label here. I can put color also. I can put any name, but I just put color with uppercase C. So now I'm going to save that, and I'm going to reload the file, and then you can see color label here. So, and again, if you click on color here box, you can pick any color you want. You can see the box, the color is changing in the box here, red, or you can do the slide here from here. You can pick any, you can change the RGB number, you can type a hexa. There's so many different ways. Actually, when we start doing the codes and the CSS, we're going to learn how to do that. So that's the first input I want you to learn. After that, we have what? The choose file. Okay, so the file input. So to do this, let me just, for the sake of time, I'm gonna copy and paste the div here. So I'm gonna take this whole div, okay, and I'm gonna put it again here, but this time I'm gonna change the color type to file. That's all what I need to do, file type. And then again for the file, I'm gonna pick a logic name for the ID. So again, that's file. And for, since I used ID, so I'm gonna use it for the 4, that's file. And I can put any name here. I can put something, let's put a file with uppercase F, file. So now I'm going to reload this whole thing. I'm going to reload the file here, and you can see, oh, I forgot to make it. Let's make it separate those two things to make a space. See, so we learned from last time, I can put BR. You can put BR to do the separation, and save and reload. So here, and the choose a file, actually this is a file type you use when you are trying to upload a file from your local machine to your website or to your account online or something. So you just click on choose file. That will open a dialog box from you showing you can navigate until you find whatever file you want, then you click, I will upload it. But anyway, we're not going to do this now. We'll learn how to do this when we start doing the code part. After that, okay, so we have the color in the file. Let's look back to the sample file. Then we have the range. Okay, so the range, you do the range. Let's separate here by BR. Okay, again, and then I will make a div, and inside that div I'm gonna put a input. I'm gonna use this time range. So range. And again, let me just remove the name attribute, and I will, for the ID, I can put a range also, range, and then let me put a label here. And in the label, since I had range as an ID, I'm going to use the range, and for the label, let me have range with uppercase R. Okay. So I think that's, then let me save, then let's reload here. You see the range here, that's the range, and this is slider, like go right and left. But in the range, you can specify so many things. So let's say I can put min and max. You can use the min and max range in the an attribute. So I'm gonna put the min, and then in the min, maybe I'll put a, I can put 0. And in the max, I'm gonna put a max here, and in the max I'm gonna use like maybe 10. So let me save now, so, and reload. So that the 0 is the beginning and the 10 is the end. Actually, you're not gonna see it here, but when we start doing the coding portion of it, when we use Java, that makes a lot of sense. So we can start from 0, and then you can also put a step here. So you notice here when I'm here, every time I click on range and click on step, it's stepping one at a time until it goes to 10. So, and if you go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm pushing the left arrow. 7, 8, 9, 10. You can change the steps rather than 1. The default is 1. I can just change the stepping. Maybe the stepping, I'll make it 2. So I'm going to click step, type step using the step attribute. And then I'm going to put 3, for example. And I save, and then let me reload that. And you notice now when I step, every time you step, it goes 3. It goes 3, 3, 3. Now if I try to step, it's not going to go anywhere because it's now we are on 9. So that's, so anyway, and this is something we're going to learn also when we start doing the coding portion, when we do the JavaScript. Another thing, you can specify the value. Let's say you don't want to start from 0. You want the slide, the default to be on 5 or on 7. To start from 7 or from even 9, it's up to you. So you can just type here, use the value attribute, and I will mention here 8, for example. So when I save and reload this, you notice here it's starting from 8. If you change this 8 to 5, it's going to go to the middle here. I think it was the default is 5. So when we reload here, so value, wait a minute, yeah, let's did I reload? It's 5. Yeah, I can remove the step here, move the step attribute and save and reload. So that started from 5. You can change the value, you can play with that anyway. So that is the range. Next input we want to do is the number. Actually, you can see here in the sample file the number, and the way you do the number is very similar to the range. I think we did it before, but just let me, for the sake of refreshing your memory, let me put BR to do the separation, and then I will make here, I will just, for the sake of time, I will copy that and I will put it over here, B, and this time instead of range I'm going to use a number here. Okay, number, and again for the number, let me just remove all of that. I don't need the range now, or the min and the max. And then for the ID I'm going to pick, I'm going to write anything, but again in logic name is number. And then again for here, for this, I will say number. And for the label, I'm going to type number within uppercase. Okay, so now when I save and reload the page, you see the number. And the number input on the side, you can see the increment and the decrement arrow, or the increase and decrease. So you can start by increment, clicking here 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the default is 1. So if you want to change the default, we can change the default. It's up to you. You can change the default by putting a value, using the value attribute. And again, you can start from min and max. Let's do min and max here. I can say min, and let's say start main is 100, and max, you can pick anything, and max is equal what? Max is equal 500, for example. So over here, when let's command save and then reload, and in the number here, see here you start from 100. It didn't start from 0. It cannot go below the 100, and you can go all the way to 500. So it's up to you. You can play with these numbers. So let's make it 10 and 50, for example. 10 and 50. 10 and 50, for example, then reload. It's going to start from 10 here, 10, and goes all the way to 50. And you can change, you can put a step here. You can put a step attribute like we did with the range, and in the step, let's put 10. And I will save, and you will notice here when I reload, every time I step, here is 10. When you click an increment now, it's going to increment. It should go, it's not going to go to 11, it's going to go to 20, 30, 40, because you change the step. And you can also put the value as we did with, and use the value attribute as we did with the range. Okay, so now after the number, there is another type of input, which is what? The search box. Okay, let's go now and see how we're going to do the search. And now put a BR to do the separation, and then I'm going to put another here. Okay. This time instead of the range, let me click type the search. So now we're going to pick the search type, and I'm going to put a search here. Okay, and I'm going to put a search here, and I'll remove all these attributes, the values and the max and the min. Don't have them with my search box. And I'm going to put the logic name here, search, as well, with uppercase S, search. Okay. And the search here, let me save. I did save. Let me reload the page. You notice here the search box here. And for the search, you can put anything. Let's say I'm going to search for BN. And then when you search, and you click the X to cancel the search. We'll learn a lot how to use this when we start doing the code portion of it. So this is another input. Also, we have a hidden, and let me put this. Let me just, for the sake of time, also just copy all of that. Okay, okay, command S. Command C, then I will put it over here, Command B. And then this time I'm going to put a heading. You will notice something with the heading here. The heading. And let me just put hidden. And again, I'll use the same word here, hidden. And I'm going to put a hidden label with uppercase hidden. And you will notice something here when I reload the page here now. When I reload, you would see only the label. There is no box called hidden because it's hidden. Someone would ask, why would I use a hidden input? Sometimes you want to have, sometimes you have forms that has information like username and a password, something that you want to hide from the public, and at the same time you want to send, when you send the whole form information, you want it to be sent to the server or to the back-end programmer, as we talked last time. So use as a hidden. So to recognize it, let me show you what is the hidden. So I'm gonna do the inspect. I'm gonna go right click and then go to the inspect. And in the inspect, I'm going to the body here, the body tag, okay. And here is the hidden, the one here, that's the hidden. I'm going to change this to the hidden here to text, so you can see the box. So I'm going to see this to text. And now you can see a box here. See that's the box, hidden box. We just changed it in the inspect. But anyway, as soon as I close that, it's gonna go back to its normal. So that is the hidden. Sometimes you do that, not all the time, but most of the time you use that. Use the hidden input when you have very private information, or for your own privacy, you want to hide your password. Okay, okay, after hidden, let's see in the sample file what else after hidden we have. Yeah, the URL. If you want to type URL like something you're visiting CNN.com, that's URL. Microsoft.com, Apple.com, things like that. That's called URL. So when I type here, let's go here for the sake of time. I'm gonna put everything here and copy and paste. Okay, this time I'm going to use the type URL, the URL, and I'm gonna put it as an ID also. Okay, and I'm gonna put it as the 4. Okay, and I'm gonna put the label here, URL all uppercase. Okay, URL. Okay, so now let's reload. So we have here URL. So you can type any URL you want. You can type any URL you want. So I can type here Microsoft.com. So this is how we use the URL. And again, when we start doing the programming, all these input elements basically we're using them, and we have an ID for them because that ID will be used in when we start doing the CSS and when we start doing the JavaScript. Okay, so this is for the URL. What else we need to, the date. Okay, the date input element. So basically here, let me just copy and paste. Okay, this time I'm gonna use here the date. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing for the ID. I'm gonna put the logic name, which is the date. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing for the 4. I'm gonna do use the date. And for the label, let me choose D uppercase A-T-E, oops, T-E, and I will save and reload. You have the date. The date input, actually, basically, you can select a date. So when I click here on this icon, you would see the current date, which is, that current date is July 6th, 2025. That's the current date right now, that's today. the time that I'm doing the video, but you can pick any other time. Like say I want to go back to July to July 3rd. You can change it to July 3rd. You want to go back in a different month. Let's say I want to change the months. I'm going to go to January, and I'm going to go 23rd of January. So you can change. So anyway, you can change the input, the date element to change the date any date you want. Okay, after the date, sometimes you want only the month and the year. You don't want the whole date. You don't want the day and the month and the year. You want just the month and the year. If this is the case, you can use the month, which is what? The month only will show you the year and the month. So how to do this? Basically, we're going to do this by taking this whole thing. Let me just copy and paste here over here, and I'm going, instead of date, I'm going to use the month. The month, you just type the month. That's going to give you the month. I'm going to, for the also I will call it month here. You can call it anything. Let's say I'm going to call it month only. So month underscore only. Okay, since you called month underscore only, for the 4 you need to use the same exact text to use here. So it has to be month underscore only. Okay, okay, command V, month only underscore only. For the date here, I'm going to use here, I'm sorry, for the label, I'm going to call it only year and month. So you can do that. So let me save and reload here. So you can see only year and month. So you just click on the icon, it's going to show you the year and the month. You pick the year and the month. So the year and the month. You can change it from 25. You can pick the January. You can change even the year. You can go here and change it to whatever year you want. This month, okay. You can go December. You can go November. After that, you can go here, year 2023, January 23. So you can pick anything, okay? Okay, what's after that? We also have another type, which is what comes the time, and that's also it's going to be taken from your system time, from your local machine. So I'll to do that, and I'm going to copy that. See, for the sake of time, to save some time, and I'm going to do here the time. I'm going to pick the time date time type, and since I pick a time, I'm going to change this to time, and same thing apply to 4 here, time, and over here I'm going to call it a time with uppercase T. Okay, and I'm going to save and reload this. So you have here the time, and click on the time icon, you pick a time. Now that's the current time, it's 8:58 a.m. So I can change it to any time you want, and then it's give you the time a.m. or p.m. so you can change this from to p.m. So anyway, that's for the time. After that, what else we have? We have the daytime local, and okay. So the daytime local, okay, let's go over here, Command V. Oops, no, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna copy and paste. Okay, Command V. I'm gonna go over here for the date local time. Okay, date local time. I'm gonna pick date local time, and I'm gonna do the same thing for the ID. Date local time, and for the 4, date local time, and for the time, this time I will call it okay, date and local time. And I'm going to save what I have, and I'm going to reload the page, date to local time. It's gonna, now you have in this input, when you click on the icon sign here, it's gonna give you the date, and then you can pick also the time. So you can pick a date, you can pick a time, you can change the PM, then you have the date, July 16, 2025, 11 p.m. and so on. Okay, another thing we can do is the week. Not it's not used by so many people, but sometimes in some cases we know that the year has 52 weeks, so people sometimes go with week 23, week 24. People are working, most people are using that, people are working on HR, like human resources and employers and stuff. They use that most of the time. So let's do that. Let's do this. So I can go over here. I will change this time to week. Okay, the week. And I'm going to do this for the ID as well. I'm going to do this for the 4 as well. And over here I'm going to pick week. I'm going to type week, all uppercase, week. Okay, and then I will reload the page. You can see here week, and then the week actually basically is going to show you week 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 30, like all the way to week 52. I have 52 weeks. So anyway, so this, okay, there is some other inputs we're going to learn, but that's enough for this lesson. I will make the rest in a different lesson. So I will see you guys next lesson. Okay.